And welcome to the Coach's Corner, coming to you from our new home here at the Sugar and Spice. All right, we have Gavin Anderson, one of the coaches from the Centurions. And have you got a new position this year at Broome? I was reading the schedule, and it had a different listing for you on there as far as what you're going to be overseeing.
I've always had multiple jobs. I don't know exactly what gets listed.
It almost looked like you were communications or something.
Oh, yeah, that's the thing I've been doing for a while. It's just, like I said,
first time they put it on the roster, on the schedule.
I've been doing a lot of different things
on the roster. Okay. All right, though. So this is the man of many hats. This is a guy that I had to bring this jersey tonight because he is the one. You designed that one, didn't you?
I did.
Very good. Very good. That's one of my favorite ones with the Vegas gold pants and that jersey. That was the best looking uniform y'all wore last year.
Got a couple more ideas.
And I know you've got some that you have not unveiled this year that we'll be anxiously awaiting to see, but we won't spill the beans on those.
Working on some stuff. Yeah.
So working on some stuff right there. So he wears many hats. Wears many hats right there, though. But just talk a little bit about going into this season right here. You've got a lot of players coming back off a team that had a really good season last year, though. But, how did the off-season go?
Oh, it's good. And I would say the biggest thing is we're not a young team this year. We do have a lot of guys that are playing different positions because they're guys that, we lost some seniors, but in the core of our team, we lost some pretty good seniors, right? But the core of our team has kind of been sophomore and juniors for a little while, and those guys have been playing JV together. Those guys played Little League together. Most of those guys have been together for most of their lives, almost all of their, competitive football lives. And now they're all kind of getting to that point where, it's kind of their turn and their time, and they're enjoying it. And guys are stepping up in new positions and learning different stuff. But they're having a great time, and we're having an even better time just finally seeing them get to this point. It's very rewarding seeing them for all those years and kind of getting to where they're at now. It's super exciting.
And you've got one of the guys playing a new position this year, goes out first game, gets 100 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, Booker is like one of the coaches from the other team last week. He said, "Hey, running back got any offers?" I said, "Well, he's only been a running back for a few weeks now." So,
Well, I told him, and what my goal is, we're going to try to. You've got some talented guys on this team, and I'm going to try to promote the heck of them to get their names, pictures, faces out there as much as we can.
Absolutely.
See if we can't get some of those guys some offers, though. But, all right, one of the big things this year is, and I know you probably will have a lot to do with it, too, is the 20th anniversary state championship game. Tell us a little bit what's going on with that.
So we're going to have the team, all the guys come in. Coach McManus has sent out some little questionnaires, information to fill out, kind of list of players that are coming, coaches are coming. It's just, 20 years, it's kind of time for it to happen. A lot of the guys have been messaging me, talking about it, wanting to meet up through the week. They all are just kind of excited to be back at Broome again and back together again. I will say Sally I had not seen my state ring for quite a while.
Oh, really?
And I could not find either one of them for a long time, but she just found them the other day, so I guess
I always kept mine in safekeeping. I'll start wearing some of the rings now.
Apparently we have a jewelry box I didn't know about, so that's what it was.
Now, I keep my Super Bowl ring in for being a Packer stockholder that I actually got a Super Bowl from the last one they won.
I've worn a Packer Super Bowl ring.
Packers.
Gabe's Super Bowl ring.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Let me play with it when I was a kid.
It was kind of fun that I had my Super Bowl ring and was doing an interview with Aaron Rodgers. And when we finished it, he was getting ready to ride off on the golf cart, and I had on my Super Bowl ring. And I said, "See this right here?" I said, "I need another one for this hand right here." And he said, "You're blank right." And he grinned as he rode off in the golf cart.
That's awesome.
All right. So, talk about a lot of the people, coaches now coaching at Broome played on that state championship team. You got Coach Hodge at Spartan High was one of the coaches, Coach Fleming and all, but just, some of the names out there of people that were involved in that season 20 years ago.
So I'm thinking at Broome right now, from Spartan High, Coach Hodge is there. Coach Gentry is always also there. Mike Gentry, he was on the coaching staff as well. I coach at Broome. I was on the team. Coach Brent Moore was on the team. Coach Kennard Dura is now there. Coach helping with wide receivers. He was on that team. There have been a couple of guys. The guys that were there have left in the last couple of years. Coach Armstrong, Scotty Armstrong was on that team. Mike Reed was on that team. He's at Landrum now. And then even just looking outside of that, there are numerous guys that were on that team that are coaches or have been coaches and stuff like that. I mean, it's just a kind of a testament to that team. Even the coaches that were on that team, a lot of them have gone places and become head coaches and going around the state and on the East Coast and doing all kind of stuff. So, I mean, it's like I said, it's going to be awesome to have everybody kind of back together and kind of just reminisce, but also see how football changed a lot of those guys' lives, right?
And actually got one of our sponsors on there, Mr. Weathers. There.
Andrew
Weathers. Yep. He is one of the premier sports lighting guy.
He is.
Told him we still got to get hooked up with those lights somehow.
I talked to him. I wanted to do the blue and the white lights.
That would be great.
Oh yeah.
That's what that with it's kind of funny that with the money.
Yeah.
With we did with Taekwon Booker.
Yeah.
I gave him a genie bottle. He got 3 wishes. His first wish was all black uniforms. his second wish was he wanted a jumbotron for the stadium. And he said the third wish that school could have it. So that was what he wanted there. I said, when we get the jumbotron, can we get the light? Yeah, I want the lights too with that though. So again, that's going to be a big thing coming up that day. Do you have any special memories of that season that sticks back in your mind? That season, winning the championship. Because people don't realize state championships are so hard to win.
Absolutely. I mean, I'll be honest. I tell guys about the teams the 2 years before we won state. Like when I was a sophomore, we were in 3A, and that team lost in the third round to beat BHP in the second round, lost to Lugoff Elgin in like 3 overtime, something like that in the third round. I tell people all the time, we were only good because of that team, because those guys were so good, and they used to beat our butts every day in practice and made us better, and I think we got to be good because of them. So, I mean, I honestly think those guys presented with the same opportunities and ball rolls the right way here or there, they could have been state champions as well. And then and once you kind of win that, you know, the next year you roll into it and they go undefeated regular season. And next year, I mean, it just kind of starts a ball rolling, right? So there's a stretch in there where we were extremely competitive, winning a high number of games for years. And, I mean, I don't know if there's one thing I remember. It was just the community and everything, right? Like it was everywhere you went, everywhere you turned, everybody knew, everybody talked about it, everybody was involved in a positive way. It was just a great time. It just was.
Never had the opportunity to win the state. I made it to the semifinals one year, and can remember that and how hard that was, and just can remember, you know, going charter buses with everywhere going and taking bus loads of fans, and just great memories though. And when it came to, and you know, it was so hectic going through that record-breaking season that we had and stuff like that. You don't have time to enjoy it because you're so worried about the next game and going like that though, that I guess 30 years later or something for me, almost 30 years later since we won the region and made it all the way to state semifinals and stuff like that though, that sometimes you don't get to really look back and enjoy it.
I think about sometimes, as soon as I remember when the clock hit zeros and the game was over, it took me a while to even be excited because I was exhausted for one, but two, it was like we had been in it week to week every day for so long. Like it was always that game ended and get ready for the next one, and that game ended and it was like mentally, what am I getting ready for? But then it took a while to kind of set in, realize, you know, what really happened, right?
There you go. And you know, one thing I was thinking about today is, I mean, I could not coach today. It's a different animal out there.
It is.
It's a different animal. And what have you seen, you know, since you've been in coaching, how much the game changed? I mean, the games at every level, you know, with the invention of the what was it? The transfer portal and NIL. That's filtering everywhere now, going down there. Little leagues are going to start having NIL and transfer portals. I think will be the next thing though. But it's gone. It's hit every level now though.
It is.
But what have you seen? And the things that changes, good changes and bad changes since you've been in it.
I mean, the changes are good. I mean, philosophically, things have changed. Just football-wise, it's everybody talked about football on grass even years ago, but it wasn't the same as it is now. It's still a totally different thing. The biggest thing I would say now is, like we had 7-on-7 stuff, but it wasn't like 7-on-7 is its own sport now. It's its own
season.
It is. Yeah, it's fully. It's an entire thing in itself. And I know it's been that way for a long time, but it's just to the extreme at this point. Guys get big offers from just 7-on-7 before anybody ever sees them in pads.
Wow.
So it's not a bad thing, I guess. It's just more opportunities for kids to be able to, make better lives for themselves and stuff like that. The rest of it is just kind of, I think, a societal thing. It's just kind of where society is now. Everything's quick access, easy to grab. Internet, you can find whatever you want. You can be anywhere or whatever at any time. So I think that kind of trickles into everything: education, sports, life. It's just kind of this century, this time is where we are.
All right, I've got a new thing for you right now.
Okay.
Jerome Singleton just retired from the South Carolina High School League. I've just made you director of the South Carolina High School League. Okay. What changes you gonna make? What would you like to see in high school league? Any differences or anything? Maybe the playoff format. We got 2 5As or anything like that. But
I think about switching seasons. Sometimes I think football should start in January, and that way we can start when
we almost had that with COVID.
Yeah, sometimes I want to switch seasons. Maybe we do track at the beginning of the year when it's hot. Everybody can be outside. Track, softball stuff, baseball. Flip it. All right. Sometimes I think about that. Maybe that's what I try to do.
Okay. All right. So, again, a lot of things like that. Some people say just leave it alone and go from there and kind of adjust go with the flow.
I don't know. I just coach kids. I don't know.
God, don't put me in that position. I'll be changing some things big time with that right now, though. All right. Will we ever see a day that Broome will play on AstroTurf?
It depends on who you ask. There are some opinions both ways on that. I don't know. Even Coach Fleming himself, he's told me how much he liked it before, and then told me how much it gets on his nerves before. So
you don't have to do all that maintenance, and you don't have to wire in the fields and do all those things there.
Those are the times when he tells me how much he loves it. When we're painting, he loves it. But then when gets 1,000 degrees on there, it's like
Yep. When it gets like that, though, we've enjoyed having Gavin Anderson with us right there, and look forward to. I know you probably looking forward to seeing you guys. You went in the trenches with the 20-year reunion coming up, though.
Yeah, I still, a lot of those guys are still kind of around, so I bump into guys every now and then. A lot of those guys are related to me, family guys, so I see them. But, yeah, it's going to be exciting. It's good. Yeah,
and there will be some surprise we might see in the attire of the Centurions at some point in the season.
Hopefully. There's a little we'll see.
All right, we're not going to reveal any secrets there, but we're going to go from there, though. So you have been watching the Coach's Corner with Gavin Anderson. Has been our special guest. One other question right here, and maybe Sally could help some with this too, was that I had somebody telling me just a few minutes ago before we went on the air about the number of students that are going to be coming in the Broome Spartan High area with all the houses and all. Is Broome going to get many of those, or how does that look?
Maybe not immediately, but I feel like it has to at some point, right? Like our elementary schools are growing, our middle schools are growing, the ninth grade class is growing, and I feel like it's not just us, it's this area, right? It's all of Spartanburg. We got a neighborhood with like 900 houses over here, and a neighborhood over there 400. It's kind of you drive around Spartanburg, you see it. It's construction everywhere and things popping up, and District 5 and 4 and 7, everybody's growing. Everybody wants to be in South Carolina, I guess.
There you go. I can't let you go without, first of all, giving us a scout report on Chesney.
So I honestly think that they're a pretty good team. They really are. after play them every year, know a lot of the guys. They have some guys that are been there for a while, and coaching track. Some of their skill guys are track guys. They got good speed. Looking at their offensive line, they're not the biggest guys in the world, but they're tough, right? They kind of play low and they play physical. Defensive linemen get high, they kind of get down in your legs and move you on out of there and create a lane. Number 11, the running back's a good player. Kind of tight end H-back stuff. Kind of a lot of style, kind of like what we just saw. And 12, Proctor. He's the third Proctor I think of.
They don't run out of Proctors.
No,
that's like Gaffney never ran out of Smiths.
He's played quarterback for him in the past, but now they got him playing linebacker, and he still plays quarterback in the red zone kind of stuff. And he's a player. He's a great kid too. He's a Proctor. He's competitive and he's fiery and he wants to play ball. So it's exciting. It's going to be a good game.
And again, I think you saw their quarterback last year,
yeah.
And he was not really one that was expected to be the starter going into the season last year. He played pretty good last year.
He's an athlete, could put him in some good positions and turn some bad plays into good plays. So they got it kind of rolling over there. I think looking at a lot of our schedule, a lot of people are good and getting better, and then we got a great schedule. That's kind of the reason that we schedule it that way, especially these first 5 games, play the best competition possible, just coming off my opinion, probably the best 3A team in the state.
It may be the best of any classification.
And, some of them, you got Spartan High coming up, Chesney now, who's Powersville after that, and then going into region play, and everybody in the region is going to be competitive. I mean,
who makes this schedule?
Well, and that's the thing that I talk about our kids. I mean, they're super excited about it. I mean, they're just competitive. It's fun coaching those guys. I mean, they're excited about all of it. They want it every week. So that's what we're going to do.
What do you think the guys learned from the disappointment this past Friday night?
I will say in the past, things have we've had bad times where maybe it got really hard for them at the end of the games to kind of mentally stay in it and keep going when things did get to a point that it got to. But they never quit fighting. They never did, and that's kind of who they are. Like we don't have any kids that are just give up, woe is me kind of guys. Things got hard, but they knew that every rep that we take is an opportunity for us to get better. And our goal is to be at the peak kind of the second half of the season, right? Like when we get to region play, it'd be as best as we can by then. And like we talked about before with so many guys playing new positions, now is learning opportunities. Win, lose, or draw, whatever the result of the game, every play, every rep is a learning opportunity, and they took it as that and an opportunity to get better, and they showed up at practice today and had a really good practice today out in the heat. It's going to be hotter tomorrow. We're going to get out there and get the music going and be excited and practice again tomorrow and keep it rolling.
All right. And I got to throw one more at you. This is Coach Fleming question.
Right.
We always have to ask him each week, what did the Centurions have to do to win the game Friday night against Chesney?
Not beat ourselves. It's always the same. If we take care of what we need to take care of and not make mistakes to beat ourselves and control what we can control, we've been that way for a while now. If we do what we're supposed to do and don't make mistakes to hurt ourselves, the other teams don't matter.
And you've heard it right here from Broome football coach Gavin Anderson. Appreciate you being with us and helping us break in the sugar and spice tonight.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you.